Muhammad Ali once threw his Olympic gold medal into a river. 36 years later, the world watched him cry as he received another one. Why did the greatest boxer alive feel unworthy of gold? If you think you know Muhammad Ali, stay until the end. The year is 1960. Rome, Italy. The Summer Olympics. An 18-year-old kid from Louisville, Kentucky stands in the ring, fists raised, grinning like he's already won before the final bell even rings. His name is Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. And he's about to become an Olympic champion. The crowd roars. Flash bulbs pop. Clay bounces on his toes, loose, confident, almost playful. His opponent, a Polish fighter named Zbigniew Peterzakowski, is older, more experienced, battle-tested. But Clay is something different. He's fast. Impossibly fast. His hands blur through the air like they're not bound by the same rules of physics that govern everyone else. Jab, slip, counter. Round after round, Clay dismantles him. Not with brutal power. With speed. With precision. With joy. When the final bell rings, there's no doubt. Unanimous decision. Gold medal. USA. They drape the American flag over his shoulders. They place the medal around his neck. And Cassius Clay, this brash, loud, confident kid, stands on that podium like he was born to be there. He smiles for every camera. He waves to every reporter. He sleeps with that medal around his neck on the plane ride home. He wears it everywhere. To dinner. To interviews. To bed. Because that medal means something. It means he's the best in the world. It means America is proud of him. It means he matters. Clay returns to Louisville a hero. Parades. Handshakes. News coverage. He's an Olympic champion. A symbol of American excellence. The pride of Kentucky. But something is shifting inside him. He's been reading. Thinking. Questioning. He meets a man named Malcolm X. He learns about the Nation of Islam. He begins to see the world, and himself, differently. Cassius Clay starts to feel like a name that was given to him. Not chosen. A slave name, passed down from a plantation owner who once owned his ancestors. So he makes a decision. He converts to Islam. And he changes his name. No longer Cassius Clay. Muhammad Ali. It's not just a name change. It's a declaration. An identity. A line drawn in the sand. But the world doesn't understand. Reporters refuse to call him Ali. Commentators mock him. Even some of his fans turn on him. But Ali doesn't care. Because for the first time in his life he feels like himself. One night, not long after his return, Ali walks into a restaurant in Louisville. He's still wearing his Olympic gold medal. Still proud. Still believing that this piece of metal means something. That it protects him. That it proves his worth. He sits down at the counter. The waitress looks at him. Looks at the medal. And says, "We don't serve your kind here." Ali freezes. He points to the medal. "I'm an Olympic champion," he says. "I represented this country." She doesn't blink. "We don't serve your kind here. The restaurant is segregated. Whites only." It doesn't matter that he won gold for America. It doesn't matter that his face was on the front page of every newspaper in the country. It doesn't matter that he's the best in the world. Because in that moment, in that place, none of it matters. He's just another black man. And the gold medal around his neck is worthless. Ali stands up. He doesn't yell. Doesn't argue. He just walks out. Ali walks through the streets of Louisville. The medal is still around his neck. Heavy. Cold. Every step, it bounces against his chest. A reminder. He reaches the Ohio River. The water is dark. Quiet. He stops at the edge. He looks down at the medal. This thing he wore to bed. This thing he thought meant everything. And he realizes, it means nothing. Not if it can't buy him a cup of coffee. Not if it can't earn him basic human dignity. Not if the country that gave it to him doesn't even see him as equal. So he takes it off. Holds it in his hand one last time. And throws it into the river. No ceremony. No speech. No witnesses. Just Ali. And the quiet splash of gold sinking into black water. Before we continue, tell us where you're watching from. Drop your city or country in the comments. Let's see how far this story reaches. Years pass. Ali doesn't talk about the medal. Doesn't explain. Doesn't apologize. He just keeps fighting. He turns professional. He dominates. He talks trash, dances, predicts the round he'll win in, and then does it. He calls himself the greatest. And slowly the world starts to believe him. 1964. He defeats Sonny Liston. Becomes heavyweight champion of the world. The youngest ever. He's on top. Unstoppable. But then, in 1967, something happens. The Vietnam War is escalating. Ali is drafted. And he refuses to go. "I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong," he says. "No Viet Cong ever called me the N-word." The backlash is immediate. Brutal. They strip him of his title. They ban him from boxing. They threaten him with prison. For 3.5 years, Ali can't fight. The prime of his career, stolen. But he doesn't back down. He speaks on college campuses. He protests. He stands firm. And slowly public opinion begins to shift. By the time he's allowed back in the ring, Ali is more than a boxer. He's a symbol. Of resistance. Of courage. Of conviction. He fights Joe Frazier. He fights George Foreman in Zaire, the Rumble in the Jungle. He reclaims his title. Again. And again. He becomes the most famous athlete on the planet. But the cost is high. Every punch he takes. Every round he fights past his prime. Every brutal war in the ring. It's adding up. Ali is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. His hands shake. His voice, once loud, sharp, untouchable, becomes soft. Slurred. The man who moved like lightning now moves in slow motion. It's hard to watch. The world that once celebrated his speed now mourns its loss. But Ali doesn't disappear. He doesn't hide. He continues to appear in public. At charity events. At award ceremonies. At hospitals. His body may be failing. But his presence, his dignity remains. Atlanta, Georgia. The Summer Olympics have returned to American soil. The opening ceremony is about to begin. Thousands of athletes from around the world march into the stadium. Billions of people watch on television. The Olympic torch is making its final journey. Passed from hand to hand. Runner to runner. Closer and closer to the cauldron. And then the final torchbearer is revealed. Muhammad Ali. The crowd gasps. The cameras zoom in. Ali stands at the top of the stadium holding the torch. His hands are shaking. Visibly. Uncontrollably. The Parkinson's is on full display for the world to see. But he doesn't flinch. He lifts the torch. Slowly. Carefully. And lights the Olympic flame. The stadium erupts. The world watches in silence, then in awe, then in tears. This is Muhammad Ali. The man who once threw away his gold medal in disgust. Now standing on the biggest stage in sports. Honored. Celebrated. But the ceremony isn't over. After Ali lights the flame, something unexpected happens. The International Olympic Committee steps forward. They present him with something. A small box. Ali's hands tremble as he opens it. Inside is a gold medal. Not just any gold medal. A replacement. For the one he threw into the Ohio River. 36 years ago. The one he lost faith in. The one that failed him. They're giving it back. Ali stares at it. His eyes fill with tears. His lips tremble. He doesn't speak. He can't. But he doesn't need to. Because in that moment, the entire world understands. This isn't about boxing. This isn't about the Olympics. This is about a man who was told he didn't matter. Who was refused service. Who was stripped of his title. Who was exiled from his own sport. And who fought back. Not with fists. But with dignity. With conviction. With an unshakable belief that he deserved better. And now, decades later, the world is finally saying, "You were right." Ali doesn't give a speech. He doesn't raise his fist in triumph. He doesn't proclaim himself the greatest. He just holds the medal. Quietly. His hands still shaking. His eyes still wet. And in that silence, there's more power than any words could ever carry. Because the young Cassius Clay who wore that first medal to bed, he needed the world's approval. But Muhammad Ali? He doesn't need validation anymore. He already knows who he is. The medal isn't a prize. It's a symbol. Not of victory. But of dignity reclaimed. Of justice delayed but not denied. Of a man who refused to shrink. Who stood tall even when the world tried to break him. Here's the truth about Muhammad Ali's gold medal. He didn't lose it. He rejected it. Because he understood something most people never do. That a piece of metal, no matter how shiny, no matter how prestigious, means nothing if the world that gives it to you doesn't respect you. Ali didn't throw away his gold medal because he was angry. He threw it away because he refused to let a symbol replace his humanity. And 36 years later, when they gave him a new one, it wasn't the same medal. It was a different world. A world that had finally begun to catch up to him. Ali spent his entire life fighting. In the ring. Out of the ring. Against opponents. Against injustice. Against a system that told him to be grateful for scraps. And he won. Not because he was the fastest. Not because he was the strongest. But because he never stopped believing he deserved better. True champions don't chase medals. They stand for something. even when it cost them everything. Muhammad Ali threw his gold medal into a river because he knew the truth. Dignity isn't given, it's claimed. And once you claim it, no one can ever take it away. If you believe courage matters more than trophies, share this story. Because the world needs to remember, not just who Muhammad Ali was, but what he stood for, and why that still matters today.